Welcome to day 4 of the home invasion giveaway. We're going to jump right in here. Alright, looks like we are headed to Stay Moist Mansion. This is an Argonian themed home with a great name. Alright, as we load in here, we can see we've definitely got some decoration going on. A couple Jester's banners here at the entrance. You can see some guars and the stables in the distance. We've got a little merchant area set up over here. A little Argonian canopy. Appropriately, that's an Argonian chest there on the table. It is floating a little bit. We know I kind of have a peeve about floating things. And speaking of floating things, this reed mat here is also floating. But this area, aside from the little bit of float we've got on a couple items, this looks nice right through here. Let's see what we've got over here. So we've got these totem poles, setting up, kind of creating a pathway. We got a couple guars here in the stable area, of course a trough in which to feed and or water them. Some lampposts, and looks like this is around the back side of the home. Looks like we've got a little smuggler area over here with the Ferrari, the smuggler, the fence, and the pet. And we got a bedroll. Bedroll's not on even ground, so it appears to float on a corner. Not nearly as bad as purely floating, but it's a little bit rough. And a chest appropriately hidden over here near the smuggler as well. And a little tent for them to stay in. Almost seems to me like the bedroll ought to be in the tent, eh? But who knows? Maybe smugglers like to sleep outside. Alright, so we're gonna head on up here and we'll go in the house through this back entrance that we were just at a moment ago. So here we are at the upstairs portion of the house. We have a pig living in here, which oddly enough actually seems fitting. There's a lot of like hay on the ground. That's just part of the house's default floor. Pig's got a little shelter, and of course if you get hungry you can always cook him. Some more food here. I'm honestly surprised the pig hasn't eaten it. Nice little tapestry hanging there on the central tree. We've got a bed here with an egg in the bed. That's interesting. I'm not sure what the story is there, but I like it. It's different. And of course, a little desk set up here with a couple items for it. Wine bottle, what looks like a drink glass, but I think that might actually be a jar of dye. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen anything red though. That's weird. I have no idea what that is, but it's cool. An Argonian light stick here. So this is actually my first time visiting this property. I didn't. So it would appear that the upstairs and downstairs are completely separate entrances, which is kind of an interesting aspect to this home. That's something I don't think you get much of anywhere else, if anywhere else at all. So we'll head down here and we'll come in the front, which should take us to the lower level. And as expected, here we are at the lower level. Now this is a nice open floor plan kind of home. Other than the exterior walls, there's no real walls, unless you count this little room created by the opening in the tree, which I guess you could. And we've got a nice red guard fire pit in there, throwing off some nice light. And some Argonian mud lamps, of course. It's an Argonian home, why not? An Argonian lattice here that's... I'm not sure what purpose this is serving. I don't know. I guess if we're going to have something like that, I'd like to see something hanging off of it, ideally, or just some purpose for it. I mean, if we stuck it over near this tree trunk, I could reason, okay, it's a ladder up. You know, the players wouldn't be able to use it, but you could conceivably see someone climbing up and getting through that narrow opening up there. It'd be tight, but it's feasible. But where it is here, this lattice doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And we've got a painting hanging here. It's touching. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's anchored as good as it's going to be, given the way this house is set up, being rounded and the walls not being even themselves, and really the wooden supports being the best way to anchor it. It is anchored. And got a reed mat here on this shelf. Well, near the shelf. It is actually floating just a bit. And we got another lattice here. Which, okay, so we've got a little bit of a theme with the lattices, sort of. But this one's actually touching both the ground and the ceiling, whereas the other one is not touching the ground. So if they're going to be kind of a decoration in and of themselves, I think they need to be matching in terms of how they're touching and not touching things. But all in all, it's not too bad. We've got a tapestry here, nice little dinner set up here, and a hanging shelf. And some more food and drink over here, and a chest, a couple cups on a bookshelf. They are actually sitting on the shelf, which is good. We like when things are sitting on things that they're supposed to be sitting on. That looks like that's about it. Not a bad start. Definitely a better start than we've had other days doing this. Let's pop open the list and see where we end up next. Yeah, looks like we're heading to Hundings. We visited one of these yesterday. Actually, it was the house that won. Okay. So we get fully loaded in here. We've got a lot going on just right at the start here. I'm seeing 4 sky shards. I see a couple pinions. We've got trees that aren't there by default. Bat plant that's not there by default. We've got banners galore hanging on the building. This is a really marvelous entrance, actually. It's excellent first impression. It draws you right in. Very, very well placed items. Very flashy. And probably looks quite amazing at night with the light these sigils pinions throw off, and the sky shards and the glowing skulls there. This is probably really something really special at night. But we'll take a look. We'll look around the outside first. And as we go through, we see a lot more plants and shrubbery. We got some hedge here. These trees are all added. More added trees. It looks like actually a lot of the default trees were either taken out or moved and replaced with these other trees, and honestly it works. It looks good. Stable here is empty. It may simply be a choice. It may also be a matter of not really having a whole lot to put in there. That's alright. This is a large property. It's hard to decorate fully. So we've got some braziers here, and in the distance there on that rock we've got a mole ball statue and a Cold Harbor chandelier hanging out down there with him. I suspect if we try to get close to it, we're probably going to get eaten by a slaughterfish, but we're going to try anyway. I haven't actually explored this little bit of the property. And it appears that we will actually safely make it out here. So we can turn the chandelier on and off. Pay homage to Mole Ball. Would suggest that he'd probably be more likely to just, you know, eternally torment you, even if you are praising him. Alright, so coming back to the main beach here, we see we've got a dock set up over here, which is not default. We've got an anchor placed nicely in the sand, believable and kind of cool. So we're going to head up onto the dock here, take a look. Dock is well anchored, lots of supports on it. Looks really great. We got some stuff floating in the water. This is an acceptable type of floating. This is a believable floating. Barrels and buoys. Got a mud crab playing over there. Some coral, sea sponge. We've got fish hanging on a rack here. We've got poles, more fish, more buoys. This dock area is fabulous. All kinds of docking mechanisms here. Another anchor chilling out on the docks. Some large storage crates chilling out on the docks. All real good stuff. It's very busy dock. Not in a bad way. Maybe a little busy for my tastes, but not so bad really. Better to have it a little busy than a little underwhelming, especially if you're going to take the effort of building out into the water. Might as well make use of that space you create. And a Horver chilling on top of the rock there. Oh, look at that, we got a statue up on that rock. That looks like an Ysgramor statue. I believe that comes from the Rift. It's from the achievement vendor. I like using space that's outside, because I know from experience that you can't get out on top of that rock. But to stick a statue there, that's really cool. Okay, nothing going on with the pool here. That's alright though. I mean, again, it's a really large property, and it's hard to do something with everything, and I think the pool gets used a lot, so not using it's actually kind of different. Nothing going on here in the base of the tower. Nothing going on here. From here we can see the roof. We've got some stuff going on the roof. We've got some ramps to the roof that we'll go check out momentarily. But the tower itself has nothing going on, aside from a torch, which may or may not have been default. I really can't remember. Oop, hold on. I think I saw something that I missed first time up there. Yes, I did. We have a platform that, okay, that's a diving board. That makes enough sense to me. So, humor ourselves, take a little jump off here. And we scream on the way down, as you usually do when the jump's high enough. It's quite rude to visit someone's house with a diving board and not jump off it at least once. Dwemer sphere there. Alright, here's the ramp up to the roof. So we'll go check the roof out. See what they did there is they made, this is all fluid, you don't have to jump. I like not being able to not having to jump. Steps are floating a bit. That might well have been a necessity of getting it to flow smoothly, in which case I can kind of forgive it, but I do like to see things grounded. Again, very fluid right through here. Nicely done. But again, also the steps are actually floating. But, you know, it may have been a necessary evil. We got a statue here. Really high awning there. There's another banner hanging from it, so I guess that's alright. I was going to say I would bring the awning down, but given that banner hanging from it, it makes a little bit more sense to have it way up high. And we've got our crafting stations tucked away back here. These are actually attunable stations. An armor master set up here. We got some sigil stands here, which look pretty nice displayed right here, especially with the backdrop of that banner there. And you see the sky shards from this angle, nice and evenly as well. And we've got a Noble's Conquest set of crafting stations here. And we've got an Iron Cross, and some more statues, another Iron Cross, Iron Maiden, Guillotine. So this is where executions and torture take place. So you come up here, do a little crafting, and do a little torture. Sick and sadistic and twisted, but we like it. Alright, so we'll head back down the ramp here, head back around to the front of the house, and enter through the front. Let's see what's happening in the inside. Alright, so in this section of courtyard is actually really nicely done. We've got this is a Hughes Bane well here. We've got an enchanting and alchemy set up here with all sorts of appropriate decoration. And we've got the signs for the different crafts, our cooking fire, our smuggler hiding behind the basket here. We've got the merchant and the banker both chilling out behind the table, also surrounded by somewhat appropriate wares. Dye station, treasure chest. This is a really nicely done spot. Some general storage here in the corner. And your regular crafting stations are here, with also appropriate decorations nearby. So that's really nicely done. Oh, some glow bushes up there. Alright, so we enter here and we see the throne area here. Throne area is very neat and tidy. Nothing extraordinary going on here. Doesn't need to be anything extraordinary though. It's nice. It's it's loosely decorated. There's room to move, but it's got it's got the throne. We've got a candelabra and a nightstand and some bookshelves. We've got wedding blossoms on the wall. We've got wedding lanterns hanging for some light, doing a nice job there. We've got a plant hanging that's not normally a hanging plant. Or no, actually it is normally a hanging plant. It does have a chain on it. It's hanging from a post, which they've stuck through the pillars. It's an interesting idea. I like it. I'll head over this way. We've got a little dining room set up here. Looks like we've got two tables side by side to form one larger square table. 6 chairs, well placed around with some settings and some food. Nothing going on in this corner. And over here we've got, this would be the cooking area. We've got our grill here. We've got a keg, some storage, some food, corn and apples by the looks. Oh, and we've blocked off the upstairs, at least on this side. Interesting. Nothing in the corner there. Okay, so we're working a bedroom over here. Pretty basic. Not a lot going on here, but there's a lot going on elsewhere, so not gonna look too badly upon that. Yeah, it looks like, judging by this floating piece of wood, occasionally we decide to close off the upstairs completely. Not sure how I feel about the piece of wood chilling out as is. I mean, it is anchored to the wall, so it's not technically floating, but it's also not really serving a clear or obvious purpose. So upstairs is largely bare, which is probably why it is blocked off most of the time. They've either not finished with the upstairs or simply ran out of items, which is, as I've mentioned before, is a really big problem with a lot of houses, and especially this one. So there's so much decoratable space, 600 items gets used up really, really quickly. We do have some banners, and we've got some lighting up here, and you can see the Redguard chandelier that hangs down over the throne room, and some ivy on the wall. I mean, what is here is nice. We'll check out some random balcony space now. Alright, so nothing going on this balcony. We can see across to that one. There appears to also be nothing going on. And we'll check the sides and the front next, and see if there's anything going on in those balcony spaces. Alright, nothing on this side, and peeking around the corner of the front, doesn't look like we've got anything going on there either. Again, not really surprising. There's just a whole lot of house here, and not a whole lot of spots to do anything with it. So that's pretty much it for this house. Again, the entrance is especially stunning, and everything in the house is well placed, well thought out. The few things I pointed out that were floating, but probably with a purpose. Mostly fluidity of movement, so you can walk up and down ramps and such without having to jump. Which, if that's the case, it's completely understandable and acceptable in my opinion. So really great house so far. Out of the two, this is my front runner, but let's see what the third house brings. We're heading to Hammerdeath Bungalow. This would be an orc-themed home. This is a really small house, but it is decorated, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to give it the full look, because small though it is, the owner did take the time to decorate it, so let's have us a little look and thoughts about it. So we've got the Banekin pet there, hanging out, kind of taunting us. Got a bust. We've got the Cheeses of Tamriel books here sitting on the podium. Excellent choice in literature. Shay Gorth would definitely approve of that. We've got some urns here in the corner. They're large. They're kind of flashy as urns go, and they kind of work in this house. Actually, they really work in this house. We've got I want to say that's a Manticora skull on the wall. That's really cool. Picture mounted above the fire is well placed. It appears to actually be fixed. Well, okay, now it's, well, okay, so it's touching at the bottom, but the wall curves, so it's floating off. I can't really fault that. I mean, when the wall curves like that, you can't, it's hard to actually anchor on all parts of it without looking weird. And you also really have to, I mean, I had to get back there and jump to actually see that it's floating. So that's good, and that's, you know, that's completely acceptable for this house. And we got a chandelier there, and of course we got a little dinner set up here. Plenty of booze and fruit and a sweet roll. No dinner table is complete without a sweet roll. And we got a keg. We got a scamp chilling here. Um, this banner here is centered in the house. This carpet here is pretty well centered. I think it needs to come a little bit to the left, but it's not enough centered to make me itch, or not enough off-center to make me itch like the carpets we saw yesterday. So we're not too upset about that. Overall, for a small house, this is pretty nicely decorated. But given how small it is, there's not a lot of room to work and do things really interesting. So I am still going to have to throw it to today's Hunding's house, as that house was really quite spectacular, especially at the start. When you first come in, it's just absolutely amazing entranceway. And a lot of care was taken building the dock, care and placement of statues. Ramp mechanisms were built so that you could move fluidly. Lots of care, lots of thought went into the Hunding's house. So that is absolutely where the 50,000 gold is going to go today. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. And I'll have another one for you tomorrow with 3 more houses. So thank you and have a great day.